Hey guys, hope everyone had a good day today. I know a lot of red. Some of you swing traders may have been not the best day by any means, but a really good day for volume and for large ranges. So we're going to kick this off. Just take a look at the watch list today. Take a look at what worked, what didn't work. Dive into some key headlines from today, and then we're going to go over tomorrow's game plan. So right off the bat from the watch list, NVDA 733 reject. If we take a look at NVIDIA, let's just dive into the 5-minute chart here and see what went wrong with this. Right off the bat was a pretty aggressive rejection spot on my part. I was looking for, going off of the past couple of sessions now, really strong rejection of the 20 and 5-day supply on the 5-minute. So I was looking for that rejection there. Probably poor judgment on my part to put that on the watch list just because they're splitting tomorrow, so the movement was probably bound to be a little unpredictable. Ended up pushing all the way up to and then kind of cruising along the 200-day moving average the entire day. I went ahead and hit the rejection here, and then just skyrocketed up. Just not a good trade. So once it broke the 739, the 50-day, I went ahead and I just called it there and stopped out of that one. But fortunately, there was two other trades today which were really good, which more than made up for that blunder. The AMC 33.5, 34.5 rejection, 29 daily demand. So let's take a look at that AMC setup. And hopefully by going over these, some of you guys can kind of get a sense of the goal here is you guys kind of get a sense of why I'm putting these on my watch list and what I'm looking for, so that you guys can become more self-sufficient traders and really start to gain a really fundamental understanding of what's going on within the supply and demand. So with this setup, pushed up, was a little more patient with this one, pushed up to 35 on the dot almost. Took the rejection around 34.8. I said 33.5, 34.5, but I always make note to you guys that sometimes these moving averages change. Sometimes the entries change because the moving averages are always moving. And was initially eyeing that 100-day rejection, but after we put in a nice spike there, I wanted to be, and especially after NVIDIA, I wanted to be a little more patient. Especially AMC just had earnings, and they can be a little unpredictable, but I do like, if we go to the daily chart here on AMC, just huge downside aggression. Big volume today, big volume for the past week really. So I was really, the fact that they were still holding below the 5-day, the 10-day, the 20-day, the 50-day, I liked all of these things. So I felt pretty good about taking this trade. Went ahead and hopped in at 34.7, I think was my entry. Rejected around 34.8, and then nice cruise down here, $1.50 move. I went ahead and took profit on the break here to about 33.65. Kept trading down to its 50-day and then used 50-day as support. So you guys see when we're taking those rejections, we're letting it trade up to a key level. Boom, reject there. Traded down to demand, right? Traded down to 33, nice $2 drop there. And then the other setup, actually the best trade I had today, when I was pretty happy about this because I haven't really been able to trade Tesla a whole lot lately. They've been in this kind of funky channel that they've been stuck in. But we had a nice, went ahead and traded up on the 5-minute here, went ahead and put in that pop there at 635, took that rejection. With that, I think I took this trade within like the first 2 minutes of the market because it just, it immediately popped up into supply around 635, and then very nice trade down. I held it a little too long. I actually was anticipating a breakdown. If we go to the daily here, I was anticipating a breakdown once we snapped the 627 daily and then 620. I thought that maybe we could get an aggressive move to 620, but around the same time, the bulls started fighting a little on the Qs, and just wasn't that aggression, because it already gapped down pretty aggressive as well. So it just wasn't really the aggression we needed, but still very nice move there. Very nice move from the 634 entry down to 621 and a half. So is that about 13 and a half, about a $12, $13 drop. So not bad, 2 out of 3 on the day. I'll take that. Hopefully tomorrow come back stronger. But, really just diving into the overall market now. I want to address some of the fear people are having. When we go ahead and we pull up the SPY chart, the daily chart here. If you guys see that chart, this isn't unhealthy price action. I know there's a lot of catalysts. There's the COVID concerns with this new Delta variant, and on top of that, you pile onto that inflation and Jerome Powell just being an absolute moron with how he handles it, talking about it being transitory or something, meaning that it's strictly because of COVID and it'll correct itself on its own, even though they continue to put billions of dollars into asset purchasing. But anyway, that's a topic for another video. We look at this price action, guys. Back in, is that February? Pulled back to the 50, bounced. Go to the start of March, pulled back to the 50, bounced. Healthy uptrend, pull back to the 50, we bounce. Guys, I hope you're seeing the trend here. Pull back to the 50, we bounce. Pull back to the 50, we bounce. Twice in May. Okay? Last month, about almost a month to the day, we bounce. Okay? What do we do today? And this is why we talk about absurd range and volume. First of all, beautiful volume. Love to see that. We traded pretty much strictly within the 20-day and 50-day channel today. And that kind of sets the standard for what we need to do. Okay, we know that if the bears start to crack down on this 50-day, they're trying to make a push to that 412.5, that 100-day. Okay, we know if the bulls can reclaim this 20-day at 430, then they have a little bit of fight at 435, and then the uptrend continues. One important thing to note here, guys, is that big tech, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and all those guys, they're all reporting earnings the last week of July. Next week, end of next week, they're all going to start reporting earnings. So I would think, and we can hop over to the Qs, I would think that the bulls are going to hang in there at least until earnings. I just don't anticipate we sell off very, very, I shouldn't say very, very, I should say much lower than the gap down today. I don't think you're going to see a push down to 346 on the Qs. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but I would say very, very improbable. Just because we have those earnings coming up, and usually we get a nice run up to earnings. Obviously, we have been having a very nice run up over the past 2 months, but still, it seems very probable that the bulls are going to defend these areas. Okay, let's talk about NVIDIA. Obviously, split going into effect tomorrow, right? So whatever I don't know if it's from the closing price or what they open at, but it's going to be a 4-to-1 split, right? So if they're at $800, it's going to be $200 a share tomorrow. So, defended the 50-day beautifully. And going back to Tesla and Apple when they last split, it kind of makes sense, that they would pump on the last day. I think Apple and Tesla did that very well as well last time. I'm going into tomorrow, guys. This is going to be a very key watch, just because the IV might be a little high, but the premiums are probably going to be pretty sweet. So we'll have to keep a close eye on this. 786 looks like the measured potential. If we can take out this spot here around 766 and then 770, nice push up to 786, and your charts and all the moving averages, they'll automatically update based on what the opening price is when the split takes effect. That's a very very interesting setup that I'm looking at for tomorrow. Peloton and CHWY, obviously with the COVID Delta variant fears, we're having a lot of those stay-at-home stocks pushed today. I mean, look at this daily on Piton, crazy move, right? So now we're looking for that 200-day reclaim. We're looking for a reclaim of 120/120.5 if you want to play it a little bit safe. And we could definitely start pushing up into those mid 120s. Keep a close eye on that for tomorrow. CHWY, same thing, right? Look at this daily candle. Just unreal. I mean, they from 75 lows to 83 highs on CHWY. I mean, that's almost a 10% range. So now we know tomorrow If the same holds true, if they keep on pushing these COVID stocks, 82.6, 83 could be a nice spot to push this thing up into the 85, 86, 87 range. Keep a very close eye on that. And then the last thing watching for tomorrow is going to be these tech names that have potential on another macro supply push and SPY in the Qs. Right? So if the bulls go for a push of that 20-day in SPY, or if the Qs, let's go back to the chart on the Qs real quick, guys. If we reclaim this 20-day here and start to fill the gap up back up to 360, a couple names to keep an eye on. Roku put in a nice push today after those lows, right? Opened around 390 and put in a nice push today, closed at 408, right? 411 reclaim, has room up to 420, keeping a very close eye on that setup. Okay, if we go to the hourly, you know, we might face a little bit of resistance at 413.5, but, you know, other than that, there's room up to 425 here. 5 minute looks beautiful, right? So the only thing we have to keep an eye on is that 60 minute. How do we react to that 413 to 418 range? Okay, that's going to be probably a range where we're going to get a little bit of resistance, but outside of that, it looks like a good setup. Square, 60 minutes a little messy. Let's start with the daily first, right? Because with that gap down, if the bulls push, the bulls are going to push. We don't have to worry too much about 60-minute supply, right? 434, 435, if they push that, room up to 238. And then from there, if we push 241, it's back on. You know, we're back on. The race is on. Let me go back to that 60-minute chart real quick. Again, same thing with Roku. There's a little bit of pesky supply here. So you have to keep an eye on this 239 to 235 range. We may face a good bit of chop there. And if that's the case, if the price action looks iffy, I think the best thing to do will probably be just to wait it out a couple days and see if we get the 241 reclaim. And then I want to watch Tesla to the upside tomorrow, guys, too. And keep in mind too, these setups aren't necessarily tomorrow, but for the week. You know, at some point this week, if the bulls defend, tomorrow might be just a day of chop and pure crap, but maybe Wednesday or Thursday these setups go off, right? So that's what we're keeping an eye on. You know, Tesla, that 50-day right there, we push that at 650, room up to 655. From there, room up to 660. Okay, 60-minute, same thing. We push 660, has very nice upside. Okay, so 660 looks to be the spot here, guys. If we can push that 660. Definitely room up to another 700 test. And again, keep in mind, guys, yes, you know, a lot of bearish action today and last week as well, but they have earnings in a week, and Tesla's one of those names they can push big time, okay? Defended the 50-day very well. Last time they defended the 50-day, put in a move from 630 to 695 within 4 days, okay? So keep that in mind with Tesla. And with that, guys, that's going to be it for the recap and game plan for tomorrow. You know, of course, if you're looking for watch lists and market analysis from me, go ahead and follow the Twitter at Alex Scalps. And I will see you guys tomorrow, all right? Check in on the Twitter, and I'll see you guys there.